Hello everyone. Let me know you can hear me. You can type in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, I see a few yes. So thank you everyone. We will get started. Thanks for joining us today. We are right on the time. So today we'll be talking about navigating your career path and some of the strategies for future success. And I'm assuming you can see my slide. I'll be moving to the next slide. Maybe you can type if you can see the slide. I'm showing the disclaimer from the Young Scholar Program. The purpose of this disclaimer is to share that while the presenters make the best effort to present the information based on their knowledge and experience, um, the high school navigator is not responsible for any such information. It's the best effort uh, basis to get the information to you. Okay, let me know you can see the slide about myself. Someone can type a yes, so I can make sure it's navigating properly. Okay, so a little bit about myself. My name is Sham Nath. I have worked in the industry for about 30 years. I have an undergraduate degree from IIT Kanpur in India in EE. And then I started working. I moved to US, and while working, I also did my MBA and Masters in Computer Science. That was a couple of years later from Boca Raton, Florida. So I used to live in Florida, and then we moved to California about 10 years ago. Along the way, I've also written a couple of books on emerging technologies. The first one was uh, called Architecting the Industrial Internet, or it was around Industrial Internet of Things, or IoT. That was in 2017 while I used to work at General Electric. Then, at the beginning of the pandemic, I wrote another book with three other co authors uh, about digital transformation. And one of my co-authors is currently the CIO of Department of Energy. Her name is Anne Duncan. Then I wrote another book on use of digital twins, which is a technology related to Internet of Things. And in the book, I talked about how can we use digital twins to improve the efficiency of wind turbines and wind farms. And I will talk about the uh, wind turbine and related industry as well as we go along. And then my final book was about a year ago on 5G. If you are wondering what is the relationship between these different books, as you can see, the first one was about the technology, the platform for Internet of Things as it was evolving. And the other two books are about applications of IoT to achieve digital transformation and efficiency in the industry. And 5G is a means of connectivity, which is very crucial in IoT, especially when the assets or the things, as they are called, they are out in the field. Like wind turbine could be in the middle of ocean, it could be in desert, or it could be on top of a mountain. So connectivity technologies like 5G come into picture. So moving along, recently I was invited to deliver a commencement keynote for a high school. And that was a very proud moment for me. And some of the messages I delivered to this group, I will go over some of them here today and use that to structure this presentation as well. So my three key points to the class of 2024 was that invest in your education and skills, cultivate your networking and professional relationships, and stay ahead of industry trends. So these are the three basic message that I gave in my commencement speech, and I will use that to structure this today. And I have few letters capitalized, and I will explain at the end why I've capitalized those and how it will help you remember these three messages. Can anyone let me know if you see a poll on your screen? I'm trying to use the polling feature. If it pops up on your screen, then feel free to answer the poll. If not, that's fine. Okay, I see a question meanwhile. What is IoT? IoT stands for Internet of Things. And what Internet of Things implies that while we are all um, aware of computers and tablets and smartphones, they are connected to each other. And we are aware of the internet that we use, which basically connects computers and servers and gets us the information. Internet of Things refers to anything that historically was not considered a computing device. So it excludes computers, laptops, tablets, servers, and so on. Now you might have seen a Nest thermostat. Your home thermostat is connected to internet, and the intelligence from that is used to control the temperature of your home and create optimal use of energy. Same way, you may have heard of refrigerator, smart refrigerator that's connected to internet. And it's interesting because recently the CrowdStrike issue that came up in the industry, where a lot of Microsoft devices had issues. And somebody posted on Twitter that they could not open their smart refrigerator because it was connected to Azure cloud. So there are ups and downs. So, in this case, Internet of Things or Internet of Refrigerators in this case, while on one hand it makes the refrigerator smarter, it also, because it is connected, it also causes safety issues and vulnerabilities. So it's a double-edged sword of trying to connect things like your home lock or your camera at the front door so you can monitor your home when you're away from home. So these are things or products which were not historically computers, but now they have some degree of computing power, connectivity, and so on. And these things, intelligent things, can be on the network, and that is called the Internet of Things. The same applies to industrial products like equipment in the factories or even aircrafts, trains, buses. A lot of these things are connected, and that helps to improve the efficiency of those. And likewise, power generators, wind turbines, solar farms, all these are often connected, and that's the foundation of Internet of Things. Okay, so I saw someone said the poll is visible. Let me close the poll and see. Okay, so the first poll was about what kind of college are you planning to pursue? I see 75% of you have said four-year college or research university, and a less number have said about private colleges and community college. So that's good. I'll get to it. I have a couple of slides to discuss those. Let me look at other ones, the other poll. And I also asked you which grade would you be in fall. Um, Only few people answered that, and it's a mix of senior and sophomore. Maybe let me reopen that poll. I had opened it pretty early. So if you see that poll, please answer, and while we will move along. Okay, so why do we need to invest in ourselves, invest in education and skills, which was my first of the three messages, because college helps to build skills. For education helps to build skills, and skills do not have to be educational in nature. It can be hands-on skills. Let's say you have a family business. Helping them in your family business will help you build hands-on skills, and it's a combination of education and skills that will help you be successful professionally. And you can learn through uh, you can acquire skills through internships, volunteering, leading a club in your high school, or some schools, high schools have academies and vocational training as well. So those are good way for you to build skills, educational as well as non-academic. It increases the earning potential. The more skills and education you have, you will earn more than your peers. And uh, finally, it's all about feeling good about ourselves, feeling uh, that we are contributing to the society and for our personal growth. Learning skills and education makes us, in general, a better person. So I see a lot more of you have filled in that 37% of you are going to be seniors or you're rising senior, 26% junior and sophomore. So a good mix of junior and sophomore as well. And the earlier you start attending such sessions or benefiting through High School Navigator, it will make your job easy to navigate the high school as you prepare for the real world. So let me close that poll and continue here. So you should be looking at the slide which shows how the lifetime income changes with the level of education. And that should be no brainer, but what's important here is that the growth in your lifetime earning potential almost grows many-fold as your level of education increases. Yes, one can work after high school. In fact, people while in high school, they may work for various reasons, let's say at a fast food restaurant. Uh, but this line refers to people who stop their formal education at high school level and start working, compared to people who complete college education at different levels. And as you can see, it can be monetarily rewarding because higher education prepares you for higher levels of responsibilities, and your professional career can take off based on education. Now, we also talked about building skills. So it's important to be aware of what are the various ways to build skills, whether it is educational skills or other kind of skills. It could be even playing sports. You could learn to play tennis and then become a tennis coach. That could be a means of livelihood or supplementing your means of main means of livelihood. So it's important to be aware that one, what is our learning style? How do we learn the most? In general, any skill is acquired through knowledge and practice, but individuals vary in how they learn, and it's important to figure out how you learn. Some people learn by teaching others because that forces you to uh, get the concepts clear, and that's why volunteering as a tutor for uh, students, maybe through library or in your school, students who are a year or two junior to you, that may be a good way for you to learn, because as you try to explain things to others, you have to do some homework, and the concepts become more clear to you as you're trying to teach someone and they ask questions, and that makes you think. So it's important to be aware of different learning styles and how that will contribute to success in life. And because at the end of the day, it's all about how you master things, how you are able to learn the academic concepts as well as practical skills and apply those. So, in continuation with skills, this not only applies to high school or college students, it even applies to me. I've been working in the industry for 30 years, and this is a screenshot of my LinkedIn page where the certifications and other things are listed. And I continue to invest my time in sharpening my skills. As many of you may know, generative AI or ChatGPT is a technology that has become very prevalent in the industry in last 1 to 2 years. So for someone who's in the industry working, the best way for me to to continue learning and stay in line with the new skills emerging in the industry is to learn through certifications, self study, and start applying that knowledge in day to day work. And there are many ways to acquire these skills. They are applicable even to everyone on this call. One is LinkedIn Learning, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. As well as there are certifications if you are especially in software, or many industries have certifications, and those certifications help you learn certain concepts that is required to pass that certification. So it helps you learn, okay, if I want to become, let's say, or explore a career in generative AI, these are the things I must know. I must know about large language models, or how those things about LangChain, which is a paradigm to build applications using large language models. So it will force you to learn the concepts, the underlying concepts, and prove that you have understood them through the certification exam. So moving along, LinkedIn, uh, I'm sure you all know about LinkedIn. LinkedIn had acquired a company called lynda.com a few years ago. And that is how LinkedIn branched off from just a networking, professional networking company into a also professional training company. So as a part of that, LinkedIn Learning has many courses available. And once you complete that, it lets you show on your LinkedIn profile that you completed that question. It's totally self-paced, very small series of videos in general. Sometimes there are a few questions to check your level of understanding. And that's very easy way for you to learn some topics, maybe just spending 2 to 3 hours. Most of these courses you can complete in 2 to 3 hours, and they have different levels. It could be as simple as learning to use Excel, or learning about generative AI, or learning about some other profession, and so on. And while LinkedIn Learning comes with premium subscription of LinkedIn that costs about $30 a month, if if you say, okay, $30 is too much for me as a student, there are other ways, such as from your library. Library has often access to paid services, whether it's language learning, LinkedIn Learning, just have to go to the library or go to your city's libraries page and find out as a library member, which is free, how can you get access to some of these paid services. So there are many ways where you have access to information, access to learning, access to certifications without spending a lot of money. And those are ways for you to build skills to supplement your formal education at high school. So now, one of my poll questions was, where would you like to go? Many of you mentioned research universities. So let's look at what are the main types of higher education institutions. And I'll use the example of California, where I'm based. There are about 400 such institutions in California and about 4,000 in the country. In California, out of 400, California is a large state, there are about 120 community colleges. So, in general, community colleges are government owned. The tuition is almost free to very low tuition. They are pretty much in every big city, every county. The whole idea is you can stay at home, uh, and they're not residential. So typically, you will continue to stay with your parents or wherever you live, and you will most likely have a community college in driving distance. In addition, many community colleges also offer courses online. So, uh, let's say an English or a GE or general education courses, most of them you can do online if you want to, but if you want to do STEM courses like biology, chemistry, physics, they will also have labs. So generally, you can't do those kind of courses online, but then there is supposed to be a community college within driving distance of where you live. Then there are liberal art colleges. Now, don't be deceived by the word arts in the colleges. These are um, typically four-year colleges which cater to all the whole spectrum from humanities to sciences or STEM as well. But the focus of this group of colleges is four-year undergraduate education, and generally they are smaller in size compared to universities. Like in California, there are UCs, or University of California. There are about nine of them or 10, depending upon which way you count, and another about 20 or so of California state universities or Cal states. So those are typically what are considered research universities, which have not only four-year programs, but they have PhDs, masters, PhDs, they do research. Some of them may have a law school, a med school associated with them. So that's the whole spectrum of universities, and I think majority of you answered research universities or four-year programs. And liberal art colleges are often private, and smaller in size, not often very well known, but when you look for options, it's important that you consider all these options. Now, some of you might be asking, and many of you answered that four-year research university is your goal, then does it automatically rule out community college? And my answer is no, and I'll explain why I do that. So this is a map of community colleges by state, and according to this map, and I've given the source of my information, that all the states which are shown in blue, they have some form of free program for community college. Now, I'm not saying that every student in California who goes to community college does not pay any tuition. That's not the case. You go to the website of community colleges or any one of them, you will see there is a per credit hour rate, but that's very small. It's in the range of $50 per credit hour, which means if somebody, even if they paid somewhere around $50 per credit hour for a full semester of coursework, um, it'll cost only a few $100s. And again, the assumption is you will stay with your parents or wherever you stay now, and you will be in a commuting distance to a community college, that's a very affordable option. And there are other options. What this implies is where, depending upon certain uh, conditions and criteria for state residents, you may be able to get even free or almost free education through community college. Uh, According to this, the states which are shown here in pink or red color, they do not have a free program, but again, they are very affordable in general. So now, why are we talking about community colleges if majority of you are saying that you want to go into a research university or a four-year university? So this is some examples I'll give you. Tom Hank, net worth 400 million. He went to Chabot College, which is a community college in Hayward, not very far from where I live. He later transferred to a state university or a Cal State University in Sacramento, and he eventually dropped out. But you might say, okay, he's an actor. He had some special skills. Not everybody has those special skills. Okay, let's look at the next person, Steve Wozniak. He, as you all know, the co-founder of Apple. He started Apple with Steve Jobs, who also went to De Anza Community College for some time before he transferred and graduated from Berkeley. So, Apple, a very well respected company, both founders and co founders spent some time in community college. Now, let's go out of technology and acting. What about the founder of Costco, $2 billion in net worth? He went to San Diego City College before transferring to San Diego State University. So, my point was community colleges could be a means to the end. And you don't have to wait till finishing high school to go into community college. That's the best part. A not so well known fact is many high schools allow you to be dual enrolled in community college while you're doing high school. And the best part is the school systems or the school districts have arrangements with the local community college, and you as a student do not pay for the college, for the community college courses that you do as a dual enrolled or early start, whatever the name of the program is. uh, you can do that. Of course, your counts you in general, you have to submit the list of courses to your school counselor, who then approves it, because they want to make sure that you don't get overloaded while you are doing your high school coursework, that you're signing up for community college courses. It could be in summer, it could be along the normal semester, it could be one course at a time, which could be online. So there are various options to do that. Now, let's talk about other ways to, if you want to go into research or a more competitive college, then or into a field that requires research, like in fundamental sciences, or you want to become a physician, or you want to do a PhD eventually in, let's say, even in economics for that matter, then you want to get involved in research. And full disclosure, I took this slide from my daughter's presentation, Sanya. If any of you attended last week, she did a session on how to do scientific research. And there are ways to get involved right at the high school level. Um, and I've also listed some URLs which gives more information on how high school students can get involved. Some of you may also know that she was supposed to do her talk today, but she swapped with me because she is busy with a couple of things. So yes, she has herself been doing research at Stanford, a 6-week program, and that finished yesterday. So this picture is literally taken yesterday with our completion certificate with 39 of our peers. And 4 out of them and I was there yesterday. 4 out of them happen to be rising juniors. The rest of them are, of course, rising seniors like her. So um, it was very nice to see that students from high school all over the Bay Area spent 6 weeks of the summer, which is pretty much entire summer break, doing research, going every day or multiple days a week to this facility. And they had mentors who were PhDs and doing fellowships in Stanford. Of course, getting into such programs is hard. They told us it was 5% acceptance rate, and the students had an average of 3.9 GPA who got selected into this program. Now, after this program, I had the honor of driving her from Stanford to Berkeley because my daughter is in a Berkeley summer experience program this week where they help prepare the students for their application process. So why is college application process so hard? We'll get into it and why it needs formal preparation. We'll get into a few slides which talk about what do these research universities or four-year universities look for in the students when they select. But on the topic of research, if you all want to find out more opportunities or how to find opportunities for doing research at high school level, you can look through some of these sites. I've provided the details. You would be surprised to see that Air Force Research Laboratory has research openings, and it's not just for grad students or postdocs, but undergrads and K-12 students as well. So you have to look hard, but there are opportunities there for research at high school level. And go back to the uh, session that my daughter did. If you missed it last week, look at the recording of how to do scientific research. Why is it important? Because when you apply to colleges, if you have shown that, hey, you have done some research, then colleges know that you have that ability. And at college level, depending upon what major you choose, you may have to do a lot of research, and it proves to the college that you have the ability to do that. So now let's get back to the topic that why is my daughter spending a whole week in a residential program to learn about the college application process? Because it there's a lot of things you have to know to stand out. And this is a page from University of California. Again, I'm more familiar with the system in California. Um, and it has a website which lists how the applications are evaluated. And these are there are two slides where I will cover all these things, and this is publicly available information from California, the University of California, and I'm sure depending upon what state you are in, there will be similar information available, but it's by and large applicable to anyone applying to some of the universities across the country. So the first point is your GPA, your academic information or your academic achievements is very important. There is no workaround of not having a good GPA. Yes, there are a lot of other things that are looked into, but in order to get into higher education, the easiest way is to prove that you are a good student. And what are A through G courses? I will talk about it, but in general, it's talking about your high school curriculum. Did you do anything extra, like you took honors courses or AP courses or IB courses, depending upon what your high school offers. So those are things that are looked at. And what subjects did you do? Because you are going to apply often, you're going to apply for a major. Of course, you can apply as an undecided major as well, but generally you apply for a major in a four-year college. You don't have to do that in a community college. So when you say that, hey, I want to be, let's say, a biology major, they will look at what courses have you done? Have you met all the requirements? And can you prove that you have done the courses that will help you study biology at a college level? Then they also look at where do you stand in your high school. And in some states, the top certain percentage, it is often in single digit, certain percentage of the students who are residents of that state, who have a standing in their high school, they are assured admission into the state colleges. So again, if you are, let's say, in the top 10% or so of your high school, that is favorably looked at. Again, goes back to your academics. Quality of your senior year program. So while all these can be quantitatively seen, meaning what was your GPA in these courses, your senior year program is seen qualitatively, meaning you have not completed your senior year program by the time you apply for um, college. Typically, you will apply in fall, and at best, the fall GPA would be available, but not the whole year. So they look at what courses are you taking in your final exam and how well they align with your major that you have applied for. They will look at academic performance relative to what's available in your high school in your area. They know that all high schools are not equal, and you don't have control on what is offered to you in your high school. So they sort of normalize for that. Then they may also look if you are outstanding in a certain subject, again, specifically if that ties to your major, if you have done any special projects in your academic field. um, they also look at if there was marked improvement in recent years. Maybe your family moved from one area to another. Maybe your middle school was not in a very great area, or you came from another country and English is not your primary language. But in last few years, you have drastically improved. All those things are given special weightage. And then any special talents, achievements, and awards. Let's say you won a debate contest at city, state level, or you wrote an essay that was a winning essay. All these things are looked at. Any projects you did in your high school, or any special events, school related events. Now, let's come to this one, um, where I've highlighted your life experiences and special circumstances. So, yesterday I was listening to a high school college advisor, and she mentioned that, let's say you have a younger sibling that you are helping academically, um, to with homework, with helping your sibling understand concepts because you might have done the same courses a few years ago. Now that is a life experience, and it's worthy of mentioning in your college essay. Likewise, there could be other special accomplishments that your family had some disadvantages, but how you overcame all that. All those things are also looked at by the college admissions team, and those are often captured in the essays because obviously it's not there won't be any structured fields to enter such information, but you can include that in your essay where essays are applicable. And then they also look at location of your school and city because they normalize based on where you live. They know what kind of schools exist in different cities and states, especially within the state system. They have a very good idea of the demographics, and they normalize for that. So as you can see, it's a pretty complex scale. It involves a lot of things, and that is why it requires it helps to um, focus on the learning about how to apply and what's important. Now, I talked about certain subject requirements. They may vary from state to state. Uh, this diagram shows there are certain required characteristics, like you have to do 3 years of math to be admitted to a UC, although they may recommend 4 years. Some of the Ivy Leagues or the top schools may require you to have 4 years of math, let's say if you're applying in a STEM major. Now, this is similar from New York. So wherever, whichever state you are in, you have to look at what applies to you. Now, let's get to the second aspect, which is cultivating networking and professional relationships. That is important even at the high school. So, networking is not just for adults, and you need to start doing that right at the high school level, um, or even before, because it opens up many doors for you. It will help you get internships, mentorships, college recommendations, and so on. Learn from others by talking to them, by networking with them, and it helps you build confidence because all these skills apply in the real world as well. Another fact, um, excerpt from LinkedIn, that many jobs are obtained through networking. So don't worry about these categories. These are about people who don't have a job and are actively looking, to people who are passively looking for a job. They are employed. What's important is the this pink bar or the red bar, which is highest. That through networking, through who you know, typically most of the jobs are found, and this is higher, as you can see, for people who are already employed, who may land a better job they were not actively looking for, but they just had their eyes and ears open. And so that's again shows the importance of networking. Networking will help you professionally. Even you may find someone who has similar interests as you, and who knows, you might do things together later in life. How can you network? Is a screenshot of my daughter's page from LinkedIn. Very easy way is to create an account in LinkedIn, and she has, for instance, 185 connections. She's connected to Meher, who, as you know, is the founder of this organization. Likewise, if you look at Meher's page, he has over 1,600 connections on LinkedIn. So it's a very easy way for people to connect with each other, and you as students can do that. The basic membership does not cost anything, and it has millions of members, so you can easily connect with professionals through LinkedIn. Another example where these three people, who are respectively co-founders of three companies, Box, Blue Apron, and Nature Box. The three companies, by the way, are total worth over $2 billion today. They all used to go to the same high school. So sometimes you can build relationships in high school, which results in finding companies. And there are more such examples. Microsoft, where Bill Gates and Paul Allen were in the same high school in Seattle, and they were maybe not even high school. It may be because he was in eighth grade and he was in 10th grade, so it may be a middle and a high school. But the founders of one of the biggest companies of all time, they met each other in their school. Same way, Hewlett Packard, uh, these people, the founders, met at Stanford University. So whether it's school, your K-12 school or college, often people uh, meet each other through networking, and later they end up starting very big and famous companies. So highlights another importance for of networking. So as we get to the last 15 minutes of this presentation, let me focus on the third aspect, which was about industry trends. And let me start with um, example from sports. I'm sure many of you have, especially if you're interested in ice hockey, must have heard of Wayne Gretzky, who says he skates to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And how does that apply to staying ahead of industry trends? So the idea is try to look at the trends, just like he says where the puck is going, that's where he need to be to meet the puck. Same way, professionally speaking, you have to be aware of where the industry is heading so that you can groom to match with the needs of the future. If you are in high school today and if you go to 4 year college, that means you're minimum 4 to 5 years away from the full time work. So you need to anticipate by looking at the trends, by talking to experts, that what is likely to be hot, or where will the opportunities be in 4 to 5 years. You don't really care where the opportunities are today because many of you are not going to work full time in the industry. So to give an example, when I went to high school, uh, in when it comes to computers, BBC Micro was popular and BASIC was used to teach programming. Again, today, probably none of you might not have even heard of these things, and that's not the trend today. So, industries change over time, and we need to stay ahead of that. So, when I was looking at this visual, I'm sure many of you recognize Python and Java, maybe C++, and so on. But what caught my attention was Pascal. I don't know if any of you have heard about it, and PL/SQL. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It's used for managing database, and PL is the procedural language for that. So when I was in undergrad, in second year, it was mandatory for all of us to learn programming, and the language was Pascal. And that was interestingly good for me because I worked many years in the industries in and around Oracle database technologies where procedural SQL is heavily used. And it was easy for me to learn PL/SQL because I had learned Pascal. And I asked Gen AI, hey, is it just me who thinks the two are similar, or there are really some similarities? And as you can see, there are some similarities. So the net of it is, when certain courses are made mandatory in whether in high school or in college, pay attention to them because they could be the foundation of more advanced skills. For instance, if you do AP Computer Science, you may be asked to learn either Java or Python, and that will be the foundation for you for, let's say, a future programming job if you decide to do so. So now let's look at the industry trends. This is from 2018. Why did I choose something 5 or 6 years ago? Because this is pre-pandemic. So this eliminates any changes that took place, maybe because of pandemic, as you know, the world changed, or this recent generative AI. So we go back a couple of years and we see that Python, Java, these remain, or used to be, the top programming languages, and I'm sure many of you have heard of it. And the lesser known ones like C Sharp and Perl, those are reducing in popularity. And again, depending upon who you ask, you will see that in general, Python, Java, these are top technologies for programming, including JavaScript. And what's going away is like C Sharp, PHP, and so on. Some of them are reducing popularity. So this is what I mean by looking at the trends of where the industry is going. Let's say you want to get into software, that, hey, what are the skills that if we learn today based on the trends are still likely to be in use in few years. Once you get past the decision that, hey, I liked programming, I like software, then you may start looking into what kind of job I may possibly look at, what aligns with my interest, maybe game development or maybe mobile apps development. And then it'll give you the subset of technologies and languages that you need to know. Likewise, we talked about app development. Will that you a good salary. According to this 2021 study, yes, the iOS and Android, those skills remain near the top. Now, if you had C sharp or PHP skills, yes, there will be jobs, but they won't be the highest in demand. And then Java falls somewhere middle of the line here. Now, the salaries may also vary by industry, and there is an aspect of location. For instance, typically banking and finance services are either in New York or in San Francisco, bigger cities, where, yeah, the cost of living is high, but so are the salaries. If you want to become a software, a Python developer in government or education, then the salaries are not likely to be as high. Again, there may be other intangible benefits in different industries. You have to look at that, but you can always look at the trends by industry and see which one interests you more. So, in general, to stay ahead of industry trends, it's important to read industry articles, network with people, and find out about firsthand from people who work in different industries. You can do certifications. We talked about certifications through vendors like Microsoft, Oracle, and so on, or through LinkedIn. And then you can attend conferences. Now, attending an industry conference may cost money, but there are, especially after the pandemic, a lot of major conferences also have a free online version where you can see the keynotes and limited number of sessions. So that's a very nice alternative to experience a professional grade event without travel or without spending too much money. Likewise, you need to continue to look at some of the um, other skills like digital literacy, critical thinking and problem solving, and creativity and innovation. That's always um, very important. One of my favorite shows is Shark Tank, or you want to see what kind of startups are coming up, there is a site called acquire.com where the startups and software companies are sold and bought. It's like an online marketplace to see what kind of companies are being sold and acquired. So this is a screenshot of this company called acquire.com, which is a marketplace of software startups, just to give you ideas of where people are investing or where people are buying companies, what kind of things they do. Now, let's also look at some of the comparisons of traditional college versus trade schools, and what are the uh, possible rewards in those jobs, which are typically called blue collar jobs. Are there jobs which pay high? Let's look at that. Um, there are, according to this, elevator mechanics. They can get paid as much as $86,000, and it's not necessary for an elevator mechanic to have a 4-year college degree. And these are fairly recent numbers from Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is the official agency. Likewise, you could be an aircraft mechanic, but you might say, why would I become an aircraft mechanic if it only pays $70,000? Well, you have to look beyond. Maybe tomorrow you could be an executive in a company like Boeing because you have the first-hand skills of how aircrafts work. And maybe later you, mid-career, you go and get formal education to make up for that. So you have to keep the options open. Remember that your first degree or your first job need not be the end state. I would also like you to pay attention to wind turbine technicians who can earn around $60,000. But and then when we look at number of people employed, we see that electricians are highest, which makes sense because every home has electricity and every industry has electricity. There are a lot of cars, there are a lot of car mechanic jobs, and wind turbine technician jobs are very low in 2020. Wait till we look at the projections again from Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is the official agency, that in next 10 years from 2019 to 29, they are likely to grow the highest in percentage. Solar energy. So as you can see the trend, renewable energy sources are expected to grow a lot. Yes, software will also grow, and the volume is very high because the base of software engineers is very high, but the growth rate is much lower, at least as per this projection. Information security will become important. Um, so these are again what I meant by saying the Wayne Gretzky moment, as to see where the things in future are likely to be. If you are going to hit the job market, let's say by 29 or 30, then what may be important then versus what's important today. Likewise, you can always compare different options just to be aware of it. Even if you are planning to go to university study, you should look at what are the alternatives available and if they apply to you. Now, obviously, again, Bureau of Labor Statistics, if we look at the top paying jobs, they are all in medicine. The only I've highlighted athletics and sports, or CEOs of company who make around quarter million according to this, or airline pilots who are also at quarter million. The most of the top paying jobs are in the field of medicine. But what does it take to become uh, a physician? We'll look into it. Also, pediatric surgeons, the highest paid job. If you look at this graph again from the same side, it only shows that there are literally 2 digit or 3 digit number of pediatric surgeons in these states, and they don't have enough in all of the other states because it's not very easy to get information when you're talking about 50 or 100 individuals at a state level. So yes, if you become super specialized, you can earn close to $500,000, but then there are very few people who are eventually able to do that. At the same time, if you look at information system manager, which pays roughly 180,000 on an average, there are a lot more jobs. We talk of tens and hundreds of thousands of jobs per state. Likewise, wind turbine technicians, that's, as we said, is an emerging area, couple of thousand jobs in different states. So all this information is available to you. You can look at what is happening historically, what are the projections, and that can help you figure out what is a good option for you. We talked about medicine as one of the highest paid professions, but then the reality is the top schools have literally 3 to 5% acceptance rate. This is the college GPA where highest is 4.0. So you have to have near perfect GPA in 4 years of your college to get into a school like that. In average, undergraduate GPA of medical school students is 3.75. So yes, if you want to be at that level and take the MCAT score, which is on a scale of 528, then that is an option. Now, the flip side of it is education is expensive. In medicine, you have to do at least 8 years. So people who get into that field also come out with a lot of debt. Law also, you have to spend additional years after your 4 year college. So you end up with a lot of debt. And the medical school debt has only been increasing over the years. So that is something to keep in mind, that what is the risk versus what is the reward. So as we get close to time, I will again summarize the 3 points. Invest in your education and skills. We talked about what colleges look at, how can you build your educational and other skills, why networking is important, and how can you monitor the industry trends to stay ahead of that. An easy way to remember this is the acronym INIT or in it. to remember that these three things, according to me, are very important as you navigate your career. And then let me quickly launch the poll, the final poll I had. And I'll also look at the chat if there are any questions. So I'll leave the poll open for a minute. If there are any questions, I can take it through the chat. Otherwise, thank you everyone for joining this session today. Okay, I see question by Anna. How do you obtain Oracle certifications? Yeah, so Oracle has, I think it's education.oracle.com. You can Google that for Oracle certifications. What's good about Oracle is from time to time, Oracle makes certifications free as well. Otherwise, the actual certification exam costs money. But the all the videos and the training for the certification is free at the Oracle sites. You just have to create a free account. So you can go to education.oracle.com or just Google Oracle certifications. It will take you there. And once you create your free account and enroll in that certification path, all the education, the videos, the trial questions, those things are practice exam, all those things are free. And this actual certification will cost you some money. But again, be on the lookout from time to time. They make certifications free. For instance, Gen AI certification is free till end of this month. Okay, let me get back to the poll and I will close the poll now. Yeah, I don't see any more questions. Can we put the certificate on our resume? Yes, you can definitely put the certificates on your resume or on your LinkedIn profile, because usually recruiters and hiring managers look at your LinkedIn profile as well, especially at the professional level. So with that, we will end this session. We are 2 minutes over. Thank you everyone again for joining us today. Thank you. Bye.